Rolling, 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 all the streets are swollen.
And Verizon still sucks butt.
Sucks butt.
Yeah.
Look,
Butt sucker.
I have a list of talking points today on my iPad.
Isn't he all coordinated and set up today? My goodness.
I'll even put it up here where you can see it.
All right. Check my brother
Okay,
out.
so we're going to talk about first the Newport Beach fire pits. What the hell? WTF. There's fire pits on the beach. You know, there's epic stories from people growing up and late nights around the fire pit on the beach.
I have a gazillion great stories with fire pits.
Right? I mean, it's just a staple to a California beach life.
Right.
And now the neighbors in Newport Beach, which would be across the PCH, and I guess it would just depend on the wind, say that the smoke, and plus there's people out there too
Partying.
And so they want them to go. And now the city council on Newport Beach is thinking seriously about just removing them. They have to ask the state first, you know, because it's a state beach.
That's the whole point. It's a community beach.
There
That's
was a
the whole
group
point right there.
Exactly. There was a group of citizens to that end
Mm-hmm.
that went and said, hey, why don't you just police them better and like curfew time, set a curfew time, go by and run everybody off.
Sure.
And then they said, well, you know, those fires aren't always put all the way out. Okay, well, you tell them to put them all the way out.
That's why they're in a fire pit. That's why they're in a fire pit. So that even if they don't go all the way out, nobody's going to get hurt because they're in a designated area. That's safety. That's precaution. This reminds me of the story that a couple years ago where the guy in Malibu tried to block his part of the beach off from the community.
So that's my beach.
No, it's not your beach, dog. And I can tell you from growing up at the beach, anybody that buys a house on the beach, you can't expect that there's not going to be people at the beach.
Although in Malibu, evidently, you know, there's the Malibu colony. It's a gated thing in Malibu, and that's where all the big stars live. A lot of them live there. And evidently there's a rule. You have to walk where the beach is wet. You can't walk where the beach is dry. If you do, that's trespassing.
That's BS.
And that's been going on for a long time. But you can still walk by those stars' homes on the beach. You can't get in any other way. But you go walk Broad Beach, but just make sure you stay where the beach is wet. That's it. That's essential, or you're going to get arrested.
I don't think I need to say much more about this. It's just
one other thing in Orange
idiotic.
County that didn't make my list is this serial killer, the one that was killing all the homeless guys down there.
Yeah, three people total, right?
He's a vet. Well, it's 5 total because he killed his friend's mom and somebody else that wasn't part of the thing.
With friends like that.
Right. And he tried to set it up as if his friend had done it, but he didn't like the mother. So he killed these others. Now, yesterday, whatever, he said he read Penthouse, and when he got nice and turned on, then he was in the mood to kill, which is typical of, you know, there's a lot of sexual stuff with serial killers. A lot of the serial killers, not all of them. Anyway, then he said something about he stabbed the guys in the head because he saw it in a movie. And then he's on suicide watch because he banged his head against the toilet until he knocked himself out.
Cool.
I think it's all a ruse because so far he was in the military and his service was reportedly very good.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard of anything else. Now, they may go back now and double check, see if he offed anybody there.
Right.
But I think this is all pre-trial bullshit.
Bluster.
Yeah. That he's making all this stuff up, even the banging the head on the toilet. You know, it's like if I'm full tilt. Now, he was just ruled sane enough to stand trial.
Right.
But.
And, you know, there are some guys that snap. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We just had the incident in Afghanistan, you know, and which brings me up on another subject that we haven't talked about. Fort Lewis, Washington, Fort Lewis McChord up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what on earth is going up in that place, but they have had more incidents with soldiers doing just crazy stuff, rapes, breaking and entries, just up there alone, not even over there. I don't know what's going on with that unit, but
because of what has gone on with the wars and our involvement over there, you know, psychologists are just now truly learning the depths of post-traumatic stress disorder. It had just been a thing, you know, when I did that plane crash deal in Dallas,
mm-hmm.
we had to go and visit because they said that we all had PTSD. And you know, to this day, if I see a plane crash on TV, I smell burning flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so there is something to it. So they're on this epic scale of PTSD, and they're just learning about it. And that's funny because that has not come up with him in any of his stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure once his defense attorney starts laying out the case, it'll be in there.
The Desperate Housewives case went to jury. I don't think she's going to win. I did. They had a kind of a last minute witness come in and talk about some emails, but then that witness couldn't actually say exactly what the email said because she said she put it in the trash because it wasn't meant for her. But she just remembered some things kind of sort of about it. So it really ended up not being that much of a thing. I've decided after we did the story yesterday about Lindsay and the club and and the guy that made it all the paparazzi's fault, that Lindsay's just stupid. Yeah. We talked about it a little bit and said, well, what's she doing out? Really, truly, it was stupid for her to go to a club. A. B, it was stupid for her to drive herself to a club. She could have at least gotten it. We've talked about this before, why these people don't get drivers. They can afford them.
No kidding. You can rent a driver for the night or have an expensive car that you can have somebody drive. Who cares?
And the last thing before we get to the TMZ stuff is the Idol contestant. And I'm kind of torqued with Idol people right now. This guy lied to them. It's happened before. And typically what happens is they kick him off the show. They make an announcement at the beginning of the show. And last night, I missed the beginning of the show. And so I figured I'd missed it. But right in the middle of the show, they brought it up. And they showed the video of him being let go by Simon Fuller and Nigel Lithgow. And he walked in and they said, you lied to us. And he said, well, it really wasn't a violent crime, whatever. And then Simon Fuller goes, well, you have 4 warrants out for your arrest right now.
Yeah, I'm reading that on
and it's like,
myself.
What? And so then they said, so you have to go. And he's like, oh, okay. And he get up. And, they said it's a shame because we saw your rehearsal earlier and you were awesome. And then they showed like half of his performance from the rehearsal. It's like, why are you helping this guy? Now he's going to get a record deal. He's going to go to jail and get a record deal.
I told you it's all about ratings. It's because as soon as it popped up on the news, it was an intriguing story, and so people wanted to know more about it. And so Jermaine Jones got his 15 minutes of fame. I don't think he's getting a record deal, though.
I bet he does. Oh. And the dude can sing.
Well, maybe.
And people are curious, and people will buy it. That's all what it's all about. People buy it. So what's going on with Gallagher?
He suffered a heart attack. Watermelon smashing comedy legend Gallagher is hospitalized in Texas after suffering a heart attack at a bar moments before he was supposed to perform. 65-year-old Gallagher was preparing to go on stage when he began to experience intense chest pains. The owner of the club called 911. Ain't that appropriate? And emergency personnel responded to the scene and transported Gallagher to a nearby hospital. So, next couple days, while doctors are going to be trying to figure out what's wrong with his ticker, the incident occurred just 1 year after Gallagher collapsed on stage during a performance in Minnesota after suffering a minor heart attack.
And that picture of him up there, he does not look good.
Whoa, Gallagher is...
He looks 70.
Yeah, I tell you, oh my goodness, that's hardcore. Now, the big news that popped out on me today on TMZ was Bobby Christina. And we talked a couple of weeks ago about Nick Gordon, who's Whitney Houston's adopted son as of about 12 years ago. Well, we didn't even know who this guy was, but him and Bobby Christina came out this weekend. They were on a lunch date in Atlanta. They were holding hands, kissing, and it seems like she has an engagement ring on her finger now. So it looked like once Mama Whitney was gone, the kids decided to play. Wow. Pretty funky, huh? Wonder what Bobby Brown has to say about this.
Nothing.
Nothing.
He has nothing to say.
Russell Brand, we talked about him stealing a cell phone the other day, so there's an arrest warrant issued for him now.
We still never heard what happened to Chris Brown after that thing in Miami where he took that girl's cell phone. What the hell?
And I keep forgetting to check up on it, too. Luck. I wanted to talk to you about this because you've seen the show. It's got an epic cast, right?
Yeah, it does.
And we talked about the third horse dying the other day. Well, the Luck director is blaming TMZ itself for killing the show. Now, because TMZ reported on the horse deaths and what had happened, and so they're saying that they put this spin on it. It was such bad PR that it's killed the show. But now, talking to you,
the show sucked.
The show sucked. So,
did anybody watch the show? Post down here if you watched Luck and you thought it was good.
I'd like to see that.
I mean, and if you're not into horses. Because it's not fair. I mean, somebody into horses could very possibly really like the show. Horse racing, especially, not just horses. Because they didn't do a lot with the horses, but it was all about horse racing, betting, scheming, scamming, blah, 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 blah.
I don't think I don't think most horse lovers are actually in love with this show anymore anyhow.
Great cast. And
I'm going to go get the door.
Yeah, that's okay. We're just going to get out here at this point. So everybody have a great day. Post down there if you watched Luck and you liked it.
All right.
And otherwise, tomorrow I might do a solo show tomorrow. He's not going to be here.
Yeah, got the doc over in Baco tomorrow, so
we'll make it.
All right.
Everybody have a great day.
Hey,
we will see ya.